Onto this now. The Khoisan community that's gathered in Boksburg for the land summit is calling on government to ensure that they are included in decisions on land reform. Today marks the last day of the National Communal Land Tenure Summit that's currently taking place in Boksburg. That summit is led by Deputy President David Mabuza, and it's gathered role players, including traditional leaders and government officials, for discussions on a national policy around land tenure. Our reporter, Katlego Legodi, is watching these developments for us, and he joins us now live from Boksburg. And Katlego, what exactly is the Khoisan community asking for there?
Well, the Khoisan community has been saying here that they want to be included in discussions around how the country is going to move forward on the issue of land. You can remember that most of them have also, they form part of those that were dispossessed of land in the early centuries, and they're saying that they have been excluded for quite some time where this process is concerned. We also saw them forming part of those discussions in various provinces by the Interministerial Committee on Land that has been going around in terms of looking at how the country can move in terms of amending Section 125 of the Constitution for the land to be repossessed. More or less, I'm going to be joined now by the leader of the National Khoisan Council, this being Mr. Cecil Lefia, who'll just let us in on their role here. So welcome to Newsroom 405. A very important day here where the issue of land is concerned, and we've seen that this is a commission that the Khoisan people were specifically just being zoomed into in the issues just put on the spotlight in terms of how you'd like to be included in discussions going forward. Welcome to Newsroom 405. Let us in on your role here.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to give our position to the broader South African community. The land issue for us is a crucial issue because we regarded ourselves as the inheritance of the South African land issue, meaning that the Khoisan people were the first people who ever inhabited the lands of South Africa. And therefore, this meeting where we discuss the land issue as a thorny issue for the South African government, for the South African community in the broader sense of the word, we said to government that discussions like the one here today cannot continue without the first indigenous peoples of this country. So therefore we are glad that we are included in this meeting where we were afforded a voice to also give our opinion, our recommendations and our solutions to the land issue of South Africa.
One of the issues is around equitable access to land for people that fall under the Khoisan community, and it's just one of those things that we saw also playing out here in terms of discussions. Maybe just let us in on those sticking issues that you'd like to see moving forward as you push for government to hear your plight as the Khoisan community. What are those sticking issues and important issues that you'd like to see moving forward from this summit here, it being implemented in terms of recognizing the challenges that you have on the ground?
The first very important, crucial issue is the 1913 cut-off date that appear in the South African Constitution. The cut-off date meaning that all land that was dispossessed by the colonial powers of the past before 1913 cannot be claimed back. And land claims can only be valid if we speak about those post-1913. So by the time of 1913, the Khoisan people have lost almost every single square kilometer of land belonging to Khoisan people in this country. So that means that if their direction within the Constitution is not going to be reviewed, then Khoisan people will not be able to claim any land in this country. Therefore, it is so important for us that the government address that issue of 1913 cut-off date and see how they can be dealt with, how it can be dealt with in a constitutional way.
Has there been some sort of a firm commitment, coming from government? We're on day 2 and the last day of this land summit. Has there been some sort of commitment? Are we seeing some sort of appetite from government to, include and more or less champion those issues that the Khoisan communities are faced with?
Yeah, we are hesitant to say that the government will attend to that. Because we in the past had opportunities like this, and we did voice our concern about all our issues pertaining to land, and it did not materialize. But there are, apart from the 1913 cut-off date, there are also other issues, such as and recommendations that we wanted to make to the government, and we will do it in the next few minutes, is that the government must establish a national Khoisan land trust where all land that are given back to Khoisan communities can be registered in that trust. Furthermore, we want all the trunka land that exist in the country to be handed back to Khoisan communities. We want that all the land that belong to Khoisan people but are in the hands of the churches and mission stations, that the government must also address that issue so that that land can be restituted back to the communities. We also want government to establish a committee that can deal with Khoisan issues pertaining to land, so that we can go forward in a structured, organized way to lobby, to do research, and to bring in expert advice so that we can really make something good out of the land issue.
Thank you very much for your time. Of course, Ayanda, that is Mr. Cecil Lefleur. He is the chairperson of the National Khoisan Council, just saying that they have issues that they've raised with government, and saying that they're looking at government to champion those recommendations on the ground. You heard them, that important, they're calling for the 1913 Land Act to be amended for Khoisan people to be included in terms of the land that is shared, and they're also saying that they're calling for the government to help push for that council. They're saying that, like the Ngonyama Trust, the National Khoisan Council is calling for a Khoisan Trust that will push to champion issues around land and just equitable access to land for people of Khoisan descent. Ayanda?
Very important discussions taking place there. Katlego Legodi, thanks very much indeed. Katlego's live to us there from Boksburg. Now,